Elena Vasquez stood with the other cadets in the massive hall. Her hands shook a little as she looked up at the huge metal structure in front of them. The Vault of Ancients rose up like a mountain made of dark metal and strange lights. Nobody knew who built it or why. The Galactic Federation found it floating in space 300 years ago. Since then, they used it to test new military cadets. "Listen up, cadets!" Commander Thex shouted. The tall blue alien had 4 arms and spoke with a voice like grinding metal. "Today, you will face the Vault's biometric scanner. This ancient machine will read your genetic code and tell us your military potential. Only the best species can access high-level training programs." Elena looked around at her fellow cadets. There were so many different kinds of beings here. The Saurians stood tall with their green scales and sharp teeth. Their yellow eyes looked confident. Everyone knew they were natural warriors. The Christek cadets sparkled like living diamonds. Their silicon-based bodies could process information faster than any computer. The Mentari floated a few inches off the ground. These ghost-like beings could read minds and move objects without touching them. Then there were the humans, only 12 of them in a class of 200 cadets. Elena felt small next to the other species. Humans were the newest members of the Galactic Federation. Most aliens saw them as weak and only good for simple jobs like cleaning or carrying supplies. "The scanner will place you in the correct training level," Commander Thex continued. "Level 1 is basic labor. Level 2 is standard combat. Level 3 is advanced combat. Level 4 is tactical command. Level 5 is strategic planning. Level 6 is fleet command. The highest anyone has ever reached is Level 8 for supreme command." A Saurian cadet named Krex stepped forward first. His scales gleamed under the bright lights. He placed his clawed hand on the glowing blue scanner pad. The machine hummed for a few seconds. "Level 2, Standard Combat," the scanner announced in a cold mechanical voice. Krex nodded and stepped back. He looked pleased. Level 2 was good for a first-year cadet. More cadets took their turns. A Christek named Zeph7 got Level 4. A Mentari called Cass achieved Level 6, which made everyone gasp. The floating alien's face showed no emotion, but Elena could see pride in its glowing eyes. The human cadets went before Elena. Each one got Level 1 or Level 2. She watched their faces fall with disappointment. Commander Thex shook his head, as if this proved what he already knew about humans. "Cadet Vasquez, you are last," the commander said. His tone suggested he expected nothing special. Elena walked slowly toward the scanner. Her boots echoed loudly in the quiet hall. Every eye watched her. She could feel the weight of their expectations, or rather, their lack of expectations. She had grown up on a small farming world called New Terra. Her parents worked in the fields growing food for other planets. Elena always dreamed of joining the galactic military and proving that humans could be more than just workers. But now, standing before this ancient machine, she wondered if everyone was right about her species. Elena placed her palm on the scanner pad. The surface felt warm and tingly. Blue light swept across her hand several times. The machine hummed louder than it had for anyone else. The scanning took much longer, too. Seconds stretched into a full minute. The other cadets began to whisper among themselves. Commander Thex frowned and checked his datapad. The scanner's lights flickered in patterns Elena had never seen before. Suddenly, the entire vault began to vibrate. A deep humming sound came from somewhere far inside the structure. Warning lights that had never turned on before started flashing red. The scanner's voice changed too. Instead of the cold mechanical tone, it now sounded almost alive, almost excited. Genetic scan complete. Species identified as progenitor bloodline. Access level. Creator security clearance. Unlimited. Welcome home, Architect. The hall fell completely silent. Elena stared at the words floating in the air above the scanner in bright gold letters. Creator, Architect. What did that mean? Commander Thex dropped his datapad. It clattered on the metal floor, the sound echoing in the silence. The other cadets looked confused and frightened. Some of the alien species Elena had never seen before started making noises that sounded like prayers or warnings. "That's impossible," Krex whispered. His confident voice now sounded small and scared. Elena tried to pull her hand away from the scanner, but it wouldn't let her go. The warm, tingling feeling spread up her arm. Information began flowing into her mind. She saw flashes of images she didn't understand. Star maps. Huge ships flying through space, planets being born, technologies beyond anything she had ever imagined. Then, as suddenly as it started, everything stopped. The scanner released her hand. The warning lights turned off. The vault became quiet again, but the gold words still floated in the air for everyone to see. "Cadet Vasquez, report to my office immediately," Commander Thex said. His voice shook a little. "Everyone else return to your quarters. Training is postponed." As Elena walked toward the exit, she could feel everyone watching her. The other human cadets looked at her with wonder and confusion. The alien cadets seemed afraid. She didn't understand what had happened, but she knew her life had changed forever. That night, Elena lay in her small sleeping chamber, staring at the ceiling. She kept thinking about the word creator and the images that had flashed through her mind. Who were the progenitors? Why did the ancient machine recognize her genetic code? And what did it mean to be called an architect? Outside her window, she could see the vault of ancients in the distance. Its dark surface now pulsed with soft lights that hadn't been there before. It almost looked like it was breathing, like it was alive and waiting for something. Elena had a feeling that whatever was waiting inside that ancient structure would change everything she thought she knew about humans and their place in the galaxy. Elena couldn't sleep. The strange images from the scanner kept playing in her mind like a broken video. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw massive ships and unknown planets. The word creator echoed in her thoughts. At 3 a.m, she gave up trying to rest. Elena put on her uniform and left her quarters. The station's corridors were dark and empty. Emergency lights cast long shadows on the walls. She walked without thinking, letting her feet choose the direction. She found herself standing before the Vault of Ancients again. The ancient structure looked different now. Soft blue lights pulsed along its surface in patterns that reminded her of a heartbeat. She had never seen those lights before today. "You feel it calling to you." Elena spun around. An old maintenance worker stood behind her. At least, that's what his uniform said, but something about his eyes looked wrong. They were too knowing, too old. "I'm sorry, sir, I couldn't sleep, and I was just walking," Elena said. The man smiled. "My name is Garrett. I've been watching the vault for 40 years. I've seen many cadets tested, but never anything like what happened today." "I don't understand what happened," Elena admitted. Garrett looked at the pulsing lights on the vault's surface. "The structure is responding to you. It's been sleeping for centuries, waiting for the right genetic signature, your signature. But I'm just human. We're the weakest species in the Federation." "Are you?" Garrett asked. "The scanner called you creator, architect. Those aren't random words, Elena. May I call you Elena?" She nodded, wondering how he knew her name. "Walk with me," Garrett said. He led her to a small door at the base of the vault. Elena had never noticed it before. Garrett placed his hand on a hidden scanner, and the door opened with a soft hiss. "Wait," Elena said. "Maintenance workers don't have access to the vault." Garrett turned back to her. As Elena watched, his appearance began to change. His face became sharper. His eyes glowed with the same soft light as the vault. His voice sounded different when he spoke again. "I am the guardian AI of this facility. I have been waiting for you for a very long time." Elena's heart raced, but something inside her told her not to run. The vault's calling feeling grew stronger. Against her better judgment, she followed the AI through the door. Inside, the vault was nothing like she expected. Instead of empty corridors and ancient dust, she found herself in a vast chamber filled with holographic displays. Star maps covered the walls. Streams of data flowed through the air, like glowing rivers. "This is beautiful," Elena whispered. "This is home," the AI said, or rather, a memory of home. "Elena, what do you know about human history?" "We evolved on Earth. We developed space travel and joined the Galactic Federation 50 years ago. We're still learning our place among the other species." The AI gestured to one of the holographic displays. It showed a planet Elena didn't recognize. The world was beautiful, with purple oceans and silver cities that reached into the clouds. "This is Earth as it was meant to be," the AI said. "But this is not where humans came from originally." Elena stared at the image. "I don't understand. Humans are not from Earth. Your species is much older than the Federation believes. You are the progenitors, the first intelligent life in this galaxy. You created all of this." The AI waved at the star maps around them. "That's impossible. Humans are weak. We barely have any technology compared to other species. Look closer at those other species, the AI said. Another display activated, showing genetic charts and evolutionary trees. Saurians, Christek, Mentari, all of them carry markers in their DNA, artificial markers placed there by design. Elena studied the charts. Even with her basic biology training, she could see the patterns. Every species had similar genetic sequences, as if they shared a common origin. The progenitors seeded this galaxy with life, the AI explained. Your ancestors traveled between stars, planting genetic templates on thousands of worlds. They guided evolution, creating species that could think and feel and dream. But why? And where did they go? The holographic display changed to show images that made Elena sick to her stomach. Dark shapes moved between stars, leaving dead worlds behind them. Entire solar systems went black as something consumed all life within them. The Devourers, the AI said, ancient enemies from beyond this galaxy. They feed on intelligent life. They consume not just bodies, but consciousness itself, souls. If you believe in such things. Elena watched the images of destruction. They killed the progenitors. They hunted them to near extinction. The progenitors had two choices, fight and die, or hide and hope. They chose hope. They scattered seed ships across the galaxy, ships like this vault. Each ship carried the genetic templates for rebuilding their civilization. And the humans on Earth. Descendants of one colony ship that found a safe world. Your ancestors' memories were wiped to protect them. They lived simple lives, gradually developing technology again. But the progenitor genetics remained, waiting for the right moment to awaken. Elena felt overwhelmed. Why me? Why now? The AI's expression grew grim. Because the Devourers have found this galaxy again. They are coming, Elena. The Federation doesn't know it yet, but entire worlds are already going silent. Species are disappearing. The hunting has begun. Again. More displays activated around them. Elena saw star maps marking worlds that had recently lost contact with the Federation. The pattern was clear. Something was moving through space, systematically destroying life. Only a progenitor can access the weapons needed to fight them, the AI continued. This vault contains military technology beyond anything the current galactic civilization possesses, but it requires creator-level access to activate. Elena's hands shook. I'm just one person. I'm not even a real soldier yet. You are not alone. The AI showed her 3 other star maps with pulsing signals. 3 other vaults have awakened in the past year. 3 other humans have been identified as creators. The awakening has begun. What do you want me to do? Learn, train, prepare. The knowledge of your ancestors is stored in these systems. You can access it all. Military strategies, advanced technologies, the location of hidden weapon platforms scattered throughout the galaxy. Elena walked closer to one of the data streams. When her hand passed through it, information flowed directly into her mind. She saw designs for ships that could travel between galaxies, weapons that could reshape matter at the atomic level, defensive systems that could protect entire star systems. This is incredible, she breathed, but also terrifying. This kind of power is why the Federation fears you, the AI said. Some of their leaders suspect the truth about humans. They would rather keep your species weak and ignorant than risk you remembering your true nature. So what now? Now you begin your real training. The academy tests were just games compared to what you must learn. But Elena, you must be careful. There are those among the Federation leadership who serve the Devourers. They have been preparing for their master's return. Elena felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. A few hours ago, she was worried about passing basic military training. Now she was being told the fate of the galaxy depended on her and 3 other humans she had never met. Can I trust you? She asked the AI. I was created by your ancestors to serve and protect progenitor descendants. My only purpose is to ensure your species survives and reclaims its destiny. Elena took a deep breath. Then teach me. Show me everything. The AI smiled. Welcome home, Creator. Your real training begins now. 3 months had passed since Elena's first meeting with the Guardian AI. During the day, she attended normal academy classes and tried to act like a regular cadet. At night, she secretly trained inside the vault, learning about technologies that made Federation science look like stone tools. The knowledge filled her mind faster than she thought possible. ship designs, weapon systems, star maps showing the locations of hidden progenitor facilities across the galaxy. But the most important information was a list of coordinates for other seed ships. "You have learned quickly," the Guardian AI said as Elena practiced controlling a holographic interface with her thoughts alone. "But your fellow humans are in danger. The other creators have awakened, but they don't understand what they are. They need guidance." Elena nodded. "How do I find them?" "I have arranged for your Academy training ship to receive new assignment orders. You will investigate reports of technical failures in 3 different sectors. Each location corresponds to an awakening vault." The AI showed her the mission details on a floating display. "Your official mission is to check on communication breakdowns with remote colonies. Your real mission is to make contact with the other creators before the Devourer servants find them." Elena studied the star maps. The 3 locations were spread across Federation space. It would take weeks to visit them all. "What about my team? I can't do this alone." "I have selected 2 cadets who can be trusted. Zeph-7, the Christek who achieved level 4 access, and Cass, the Mentari who reached level 6. Both have noticed strange patterns in recent Federation reports. They suspect something is wrong." The next morning, Elena found herself assigned to a small scout ship called the Discovery, along with Zeph-7 and Cass. Commander Thex briefed them on their mission with obvious reluctance. "Several colonies have gone silent in the past month," he explained. "We're sending you to investigate because your ship is fast and hard to detect. Check their communication systems and report back." Elena exchanged glances with her teammates. Zeph-7's crystal face reflected the bridge lights as he processed data streams. Cass floated silently, but Elena could sense the Mentari's curiosity about their real mission. Their first destination was the Kepler colony in the Outer Rim. During the 3-day journey, Elena carefully shared some of what she had learned. She told them about the progenitors and the threat of the Devourers, but left out the details about her own identity as a creator. "This explains the pattern I've been tracking," Zeph-7 said, his voice sounding like wind chimes. 17 colonies have lost contact in the past 6 months. All were home to species with high intelligence ratings. "I have sensed fear in the minds of Federation leaders," Cass added, her translucent form shimmering with concern. "They know something they are not sharing with the public." When they reached Kepler Colony, Elena's heart sank. The planet looked normal from orbit, but their sensors detected no life signs, no radio signals, no heat signatures from the cities. They landed near the main settlement. The buildings were intact but completely empty. No bodies, no signs of struggle. It was as if every living thing had simply vanished. "This is not natural," Cass said, her mental voice filled with dread. "I can sense residual psychic impressions, terror, despair. Then, nothing." Elena's training from the Guardian AI helped her recognize the signs. The Devourers were here. They consume consciousness itself, leaving the physical world untouched. They found the colony's communication center. Elena used her new knowledge to access systems that should have been beyond her clearance level. The final transmissions told a horrifying story. Day 1. Strange ships appeared in orbit. They don't respond to our communications. Day 3. People in the Eastern District are acting strange. They seem empty, like they're sleepwalking. Day 7. The emptiness is spreading. It's not a disease. It's something else, something that takes away who you are. Day 10. I'm the last one left. I can feel it in my mind now. The hunger, the cold. I'm going to try to send this message before I forget how to be me. Elena shared the data with her teammates. Zeph-7 analyzed it with his computer-like mind, while Cass probed the psychic residue left behind. The pattern matches what happened to the other lost colonies, Zeph-7 concluded. The attackers are targeting specific species first, the most intelligent ones. Why? Elena asked, though she suspected the answer. Because, Cass said slowly, intelligence is what they feed on. The smarter the species, the more nourishing their consciousness. Elena realized the Devourers weren't random destroyers. They were farmers, cultivating intelligent life across the galaxy and harvesting it when it was ready. The Federation's member species were like crops in a vast field. They left Kepler and traveled to their second destination. The journey took them through a major trade route where they encountered other ships. Elena listened to the radio chatter and noticed something disturbing. Pilots and crews were reporting navigation errors and computer glitches that led them away from certain star systems. The Federation is redirecting traffic, Elena realized. They're keeping people away from the affected areas. Their second stop was a mining world called Titan's Rest. This time, they were too late to even see an empty planet. The entire world was gone. In its place was a sphere of perfect darkness that seemed to absorb light itself. What could do that to an entire planet? Zeph 7 asked, his usual confidence replaced by fear. Elena consulted the progenitor knowledge in her mind. The devourers don't just consume consciousness. When they're finished feeding, they collapse matter itself into a kind of psychic singularity, a wound in reality. They kept their distance from the dark sphere and jumped to their final destination. The journey took longer because Elena secretly programmed a detour to coordinates the Guardian AI had given her. She needed to find the other creators. The detour led them to what looked like an empty asteroid field, but Elena's enhanced senses detected something hidden among the rocks. Following the signal, they discovered a massive space station disguised as a collection of asteroids. "This is impossible," Zeph 7 said. "There are no stations registered in this sector." Elena guided their ship toward a docking bay that opened as they approached. The station was clearly ancient, built with the same technology as the Vault of Ancients. Inside, they were greeted by a woman who looked to be about Elena's age. She had short black hair and wore a simple cargo pilot's uniform, but her eyes held the same knowing look Elena had seen in the Guardian AI. "You're Elena Vasquez," the woman said. "I'm Marcus Chen, though my ship's computer insists on calling me Creator Chen now." "Another human?" Zeph 7 observed. "Another progenitor descendant," Marcus corrected. "I've been living on this station for 2 weeks, learning things that would blow your mind, or maybe not considering what you've probably been taught." Elena introduced her teammates and explained their mission. Marcus nodded grimly. "I've seen the dead worlds too, lost count after the 15th one. Whatever these devourers are, they're not playing around, they're clearing the galaxy systematically." "Where are the other 2 creators?" Elena asked. Dr. Sarah Okafor is running a xenobiology research station in the Vega system. She's been documenting the disappearances, thinking they're some kind of plague. James Riley is harder to pin down. He's been using progenitor tech to stay ahead of Federation bounty hunters. They think he's a criminal, but really he's just trying to survive. Marcus led them deeper into the station. "This place used to be a military command center. The AI here has been teaching me about war strategies that our ancestors used against the Devourers. But Elena, what I've learned, it's scary." "What do you mean?" "The Federation isn't just ignorant about the threat. Some of their leaders are actively helping the Devourers. They're called observers, and they've been steering galactic civilization for centuries, making sure intelligent species develop along certain lines." Elena felt sick. "You mean the whole Federation is a farm?" Marcus finished. "Designed to grow smart, tasty species for harvesting. The observers have been preparing for their master's return." Elena realized their situation was even worse than she had thought. Not only were the Devourers coming, but they had allies already embedded in the government. The enemy wasn't just at the gates, they were already inside. Elena stood in the command center of the hidden station, watching star maps that showed the growing threat across the galaxy. Red markers indicated worlds that had gone silent. Yellow markers showed planets where strange events were being reported. The pattern was clear and terrifying. The Devourers were closing in from multiple directions. "We need to find the other creators quickly," Elena said to Marcus. "And we need to start waking up more progenitor facilities." Marcus nodded. "I've been in contact with Dr. Okafor. She's willing to meet, but she's scared. Her research station has been getting visits from Federation inspectors lately. They're asking questions about her work." "What about Riley?" "Still off the grid, but I have an idea about how to find him." Marcus led Elena to another section of the station where massive holographic displays showed ship tracking data. The station's AI has been monitoring all Federation communications. Every time someone uses progenitor technology, it leaves a signature. "Look at this." He pointed to a series of data points moving through space in an unusual pattern. "This ship has been jumping between systems using technology that shouldn't exist. Navigation systems that can plot courses through unexplored space. energy signatures that don't match any known Federation drives. That has to be him, Elena agreed. Over the next week, Elena and Marcus worked together to contact the other creators. Dr. Sarah Okafor arrived first, bringing her research ship to the hidden station under cover of a routine supply run. She was a tall woman with graying hair and kind eyes that held a deep sadness. "I've been documenting the disappearances for months," she told Elena and Marcus. "At first, I thought it was some kind of plague or biological weapon, but the pattern is wrong. It's too selective, too purposeful." Elena showed her the progenitor historical records. Dr. Okafor studied the information with the careful attention of a trained scientist. "This explains everything," she said finally. "The genetic markers I've been finding, the way certain species are being targeted, it's not random at all." "What do you mean?" Marcus asked. "The Devourers are following a plan. They're taking the most advanced species first to prevent any organized resistance. Then they'll work their way down to the less developed races." James Riley arrived 2 days later in a ship that looked like scrap metal, but moved like liquid lightning. He was younger than Elena expected, probably early 20s, with bright red hair and a quick smile that didn't hide the wariness in his eyes. "Sorry I'm late," he said as he docked his ship. "Had to lose 3 Federation patrol cruisers on the way here. They're really not happy with me." "What did you do?" Elena asked. Started asking the wrong questions, like why Federation trade routes have been changing, why certain shipping companies get advance warnings about dangerous sectors while others don't, why some colonies get priority protection while others are left to defend themselves. Elena realized James had been discovering the same patterns they had, just from a different angle. With all 4 creators together, the station's AI began revealing the full scope of what their ancestors had hidden throughout the galaxy. It wasn't just weapons and ships. The progenitors had built an entire secret civilization hidden in asteroid belts, inside hollow moons, and in the spaces between star systems. "This is incredible," Dr. Okafor breathed as she watched the displays. "There are thousands of facilities, automated shipyards, weapon platforms, entire fleets in hibernation. Why didn't they use all this the first time?" Marcus asked. "Because they ran out of time," Elena said, accessing deeper memories from the progenitor database. "The Devourers attacked faster than expected. The progenitors had to choose between fighting with what they had or hiding resources for future generations. They chose us," James realized. The AI confirmed Elena's interpretation. The progenitors sacrificed themselves to ensure their descendants would have the tools needed to win the next war. But those tools require creator-level authorization to activate. Elena felt the weight of that responsibility. "Show us how to wake up the fleet." Over the following days, the 4 humans worked together to activate progenitor facilities across the galaxy. Each awakened station brought more resources online. Hidden shipyards began building new vessels using designs that were millions of years old, but still more advanced than anything the current galactic civilization possessed. Elena discovered she had a natural talent for coordinating these operations. The other creators seemed to look to her for leadership, though she wasn't sure why. "You think differently than we do," Dr. Okafor explained when Elena asked. "Marcus is a natural pilot. James understands logistics and tactics. I'm good with technology and analysis. But you see the big picture. You understand how all the pieces fit together." As their secret fleet grew stronger, Elena began planning how to protect the remaining Federation worlds, but their activities hadn't gone unnoticed. "We have a problem," Marcus announced during one of their planning sessions. "Long-range sensors are detecting a massive Federation fleet heading our way. Battleships, carriers, the works." Elena studied the sensor data. "That's Admiral Corvash's 7th Fleet. They're supposed to be defending the core worlds." "Not anymore," James said grimly. "Someone really wants us stopped." The station's AI provided more disturbing intelligence. Federation communication intercepts indicate this operation was ordered directly by the Observer Council. They are aware of your activities and consider you a threat to galactic stability. "We're the threat?" Elena asked incredulously. "We're trying to save everyone." "Not everyone wants to be saved," Dr. Okafor said quietly. "Some species have lived under Federation protection for so long they can't imagine anything else. To them, we represent chaos and change." As the Federation fleet approached, Elena made a difficult decision. We need to evacuate this station and split up. If they capture all 4 creators, the resistance ends before it really begins." But it was too late. The Federation fleet dropped out of hyperspace much closer than expected, appearing all around the hidden station. Admiral Corvash's flagship, a massive dreadnought called the Harmony, positioned itself directly in front of the station's main docking bay. "Attention illegal occupants," came the Admiral's voice over the communication system. "You are ordered to surrender immediately. You are in possession of stolen alien technology and pose a threat to galactic security." Elena opened a channel. "Admiral, we're trying to warn you about an invasion. The Devourers are coming. We have proof." "The only threat to this galaxy is human ambition," Admiral Corvash replied. "The Observer Council has informed us of your species' true nature. You are descendants of ancient warmongers who nearly destroyed galactic civilization once before." Elena realized the observers had twisted the truth. They were painting the progenitors as villains instead of victims. "That's not true," Elena tried to explain. "The progenitors were trying to protect—" "Enough!" the Admiral interrupted. "You will surrender or face the consequences." Elena looked at her fellow creators. Marcus was already heading toward his ship. James was checking his weapons. Dr. Okafor was downloading critical data onto portable storage devices. "They're not going to listen," Marcus said. "We need to run." Elena made the hardest decision of her life. "You 3 get out of here. Take different routes to different safe zones. Start waking up more facilities." "What about you?" Dr. Okafor asked. Elena looked at the massive Federation fleet surrounding them. She thought about all the worlds that had already been consumed by the Devourers, all the species that would die if the galaxy wasn't warned and prepared. "Someone needs to buy you time to escape," Elena said. "The station's AI has been teaching me about the command protocols for progenitor war machines. I think I can give Admiral Corvash a demonstration he'll never forget." As her friends reluctantly prepared to flee, Elena walked to the station's main command center. She placed her hands on the control interface and felt the ancient systems respond to her touch. "Computer, activate all defensive systems. Authorization, Creator Prime." The station began to transform around her. What had looked like a collection of asteroids now revealed itself as a massive warship that had been sleeping for millions of years. Weapons that could tear holes in space itself came online. Shields that could deflect entire fleets activated. Admiral Corvash's confident voice came over the communication channel again, but this time it sounded much less certain. What is that thing?" Elena's voice carried the authority of her ancient ancestors when she responded. "This is your last warning, Admiral. Withdraw your fleet and listen to what we have to tell you, or discover why the progenitors were the most feared warriors in galactic history." The space around the ancient station erupted into chaos as Elena's awakened warship revealed its true power. Weapons that had been sleeping for millions of years came to life, sending streams of pure energy toward Admiral Corvash's fleet. But Elena wasn't trying to destroy them. She was trying to disable their weapons so they would have to listen. "Impossible!" Admiral Corvash shouted over the communication channel. "No single ship could have that much firepower." Elena's voice carried a strange double tone now, as if the station's AI was speaking through her. "This is not a ship, Admiral. This is a progenitor command fortress, and you are attacking the descendants of the beings who built your entire civilization." Through the station's sensors, Elena could see the Federation ships struggling to coordinate their attack. Their weapons barely scratched the ancient shields, while her precisely aimed shots disabled ship after ship without killing anyone aboard. But Elena's attention was drawn to something else. Long-range sensors were detecting movement at the edge of the solar system. Dark shapes that seemed to absorb light itself were emerging from hyperspace. "The Devourers," Elena whispered. "They're here." The lead ships of the Devourer fleet were unlike anything Elena had seen in the progenitor records. These weren't just vessels. They were living things made of twisted space and hungry darkness. As Elena watched, one of them reached out with tentacles of pure void and touched a Federation destroyer. The destroyer didn't explode. It simply stopped existing. The metal hull dissolved into nothingness. The energy from its reactors was consumed. Even the light reflecting off its surface was eaten by the hungry darkness. "Admiral," Elena called urgently, "look at your long-range sensors. The real enemy is here." There was silence on the channel for several seconds. Then Admiral Korvash's voice came back, filled with a fear Elena had never heard from the confident military leader. What are those things? The Devourers, Elena explained quickly. Ancient enemies that consume intelligent life. They've been hunting across the galaxy for months, destroying entire species. Your Observer Council knows about them. They've been helping prepare the galaxy for harvest. That's impossible. The Observers are respected leaders. The Observers are servants of the Devourers, Elena said. Check your own intelligence files, Admiral. How many worlds have gone silent in the past year? How many species have simply disappeared? Elena could hear frantic activity in the background of the Admiral's communication channel. Orders being given, data being checked, the terrible truth being confirmed. My God, Admiral Korvash whispered. The reports, we thought it was civil wars, natural disasters. It was systematic extermination, Elena said, and now they're coming for the core worlds. The Devourer fleet was moving toward them with impossible speed. Elena counted dozens of the void ships, each one large enough to swallow a Federation battleship whole. But, even worse, she could see something behind them, a shape so massive it blotted out the stars themselves. A Devourer mothership, Elena breathed, accessing progenitor memories of the ancient war. They've brought one of their planet killers. Elena knew she had to act fast. She opened communication channels to Marcus James and Dr. Okafor, who are now in different star systems working to awaken more progenitor facilities. All creators, this is Elena. The final battle is starting here. Activate everything you can. We need the full fleet now. Marcus's voice came back immediately. Elena, I've got 3 dreadnoughts coming online, but they're hours away. I've awakened a weapons platform, James reported. It's got enough firepower to crack a moon, but I need time to charge the main guns. Dr. Okafor's transmission was filled with excitement and terror. Elena, I've found something incredible. The progenitors built a consciousness transfer network. If we can link all the creators together, do it, Elena said without hesitation. Whatever it takes. Elena felt her awareness suddenly expand as the other creators linked their minds to hers through the ancient network. She could see through their eyes, control their facilities, coordinate their resources, but more than that, she could feel the collective knowledge of all progenitor AI systems flowing into her mind. The sensation was overwhelming. Elena was no longer just herself. She was becoming something new, part human, part AI, part living embodiment of progenitor will. Through this expanded awareness, Elena could perceive the true scope of the battle. The Devourer fleet wasn't just attacking this system, they were launching simultaneous assaults on dozens of core Federation worlds. This was the final harvest they had been preparing for centuries. But Elena could also see the awakening progenitor fleet. Hidden shipyards across the galaxy were launching vessels that had been waiting for millions of years. Weapon platforms that could reshape matter at the atomic level were powering up. Defense grids that could protect entire star systems were coming online. Admiral Korvash, Elena called, her voice now carrying harmonics that resonated with the fundamental frequencies of space itself. I'm uploading tactical data to your fleet. Your ships are about to be upgraded with progenitor technology. We're going to show these Devourers what happens when you threaten the children of the galaxy's creators. Elena reached out through the Command Fortress's systems and began modifying the Federation ships around them. Ancient nanobots flowed from hidden ports, upgrading weapons, strengthening shields, and enhancing the ship's computer systems with AI assistance. This is incredible, came reports from Federation ship captains. Our weapons are charging faster than ever before. Our shields are holding against weapons that should have destroyed us. The first Devourer ship reached the battle zone and immediately targeted the largest Federation vessel, but instead of being consumed, the battleship's new progenitor shields reflected the void attack back at its source. The Devourer ship writhed in apparent pain as its own hunger was turned against it. Elena smiled grimly. Remember, Devourers feed on consciousness and matter, but they cannot consume the will to protect others. That's something uniquely strong in progenitor genetics. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Devourer void ships that had destroyed entire civilizations found themselves facing weapons that could wound them. Federation vessels that had been hopelessly outmatched suddenly fought as equals beside ancient progenitor dreadnoughts. But the real test came when the Devourer mothership entered the battle. The massive entity was less a ship than a living wound in reality itself. It reached out with tendrils of pure hunger, trying to consume entire planets' worth of life force. Elena knew this was the moment that would determine the fate of the galaxy. She opened herself completely to the progenitor consciousness network, feeling her human identity merge with something far greater and older. "I am Elena Vasquez," she said, her voice now echoing across all communication channels in the system. "I am a human. I am a progenitor. I am a creator. And I deny you this galaxy." Elena the Progenitor Collective reached out with weapons that existed as much in the realm of consciousness as in physical space. The battle became a contest of wills as much as firepower. The Devourer's hunger crashed against the combined determination of every species in the galaxy to survive and protect each other. Gradually, impossibly, the Devourers began to retreat. Their mothership pulled back as wounds that couldn't heal opened across its surface. The void ships found their hunger turned back on themselves until they consumed their own dark essence. We're winning," Admiral Korvash said in amazement. "No," Elena corrected. Her consciousness now spread across hundreds of AI systems throughout the galaxy. "We've already won. The galaxy belongs to those who create, not those who devour. It always has." The Devourer fleet retreated beyond the edge of the galaxy, leaving behind only the echo of their hunger and the promise that they would not return for a very long time. In the aftermath of the battle, Elena found herself changed forever. She existed partially in her human body aboard the command fortress, but also within the vast network of progenitor AI systems. She was individual and collective, mortal and eternal. The Federation was reformed with humanity taking their rightful place, not as junior members, but as the guardians they had always been meant to be. The rigid caste system that had kept species separated was replaced with cooperation based on each race's unique strengths. Months later, Elena stood before a new class of cadets from dozens of species. She was training them not just in military tactics, but in the deeper truth that evolution wasn't about individual superiority. It was about the courage to sacrifice for something greater than yourself. "Today you will face the biometric scanner," Elena told the young cadets. "But remember, it's not testing your genetic potential. It's measuring your willingness to protect others." Elena placed her own hand on the scanner and smiled as it displayed its familiar message, "Access Level Creator." But now she understood what that really meant. It wasn't about genetic superiority or ancient bloodlines. It was about the choice to create rather than destroy, to build rather than consume, to protect rather than exploit. The galaxy was safe, but Elena knew there were other galaxies out there, other threats to face. Humanity's true journey as the guardians of intelligent life was just beginning. And Elena Vasquez, part human and part something greater, was ready for whatever came next.